So what's up? What's the deal, guys? Welcome to JA News.
It's up.
So as we head into this week, I think it's safe to say that most sneakerheads were disappointed after this past weekend's Sneakers Day 2023, which the highly anticipated event had expectations out of this world. So for today's show, we're gonna actually cover which pairs dropped. We're also gonna be discussing this week in sneaker releases and Adidas. You gotta stop hoarding all of these Yeezys. Stay tuned. We got images of a highly anticipated Yeezy boot, which I anticipate Adidas to release before this year's end. So stay tuned, guys. We got all that plus more, and it's coming right up next. All right, so to kick things off, Sneakers Day 2023, the global event, which for the very first time the USA was able to participate. Expectations for this event were out of this world. There was really no way that Nike could live up to the hype, with all of the rumors spreading that we could see restocks of some of the most popular releases of the year. I mean, even leading up to the event, I still was seeing YouTubers posting pictures of the lost and found in their thumbnails. So the expectations versus the reality of what we actually got were crazy. As we saw, we got the Jordan 4 red cement. We also got a restock of the St. John Dunks, which is pretty cool because those last dropped back in 2020. So we got more red pandas hitting the streets, and last Saturday, Nike dropped a whole lot of red. Now, as for these Jordan 4s, while I've roasted them a lot saying they're trash, I do feel like because they are a Chicago colorway, that later down the line, these joints will be collectible. So I feel like in like 3-4 years, when people bust these out, they'll be kind of cool, but for now, they ain't it. Now, when it comes to Sneakers Day moving forward, I wonder if Nike will look at the negative feedback and possibly maybe in the future just exclude the USA, from the entire event, or maybe they will take the criticism and try to spice things up for next year. But I feel like based off the day overall, I feel like Nike dropped the ball, and if they would have added at least 1 or 2 more hype releases, they could have probably made things a lot better. But I feel like Sneakers Day overall was just kind of a disappointment. Now, as far as this week's releases go, it doesn't look like things are getting much better, as it appears that this week's sneaker releases are kind of mid. So coming up on the 14th, we got the Nike Mac Attack white and black, which will be releasing as a quick strike release. Following that up, we got the Nocta glide joints from Drake, which are going to be releasing on the 15th, alongside the release of the ES22 by Reebok, a retro signature model worn by Emmitt Smith. So it'll be real interesting to see how this release is received, and to see if Reebok plans to bring back any more retro models out the vault. Now on Saturday, Adidas will be releasing the Crazy 8 Team Orange. And as for this week's biggest release, it looks like we finally got the Terror Squad Air Force Ones dropping. Now, my man Fat Joe, he's been trying his best. I felt like he's gifted a pair of these to literally every celebrity and influencer, but unfortunately, the kids just ain't checking for these. Now, if the TS didn't stand for Terror Squad and stood for Travis Scott, it would be a different story, but unfortunately, it looks like this release is just about a decade too late. So of course, we got these blackout joints, which are gonna be dropping this Saturday. And then you had the loyalty pair, which is these baby blue joints, which dropped recently via exclusive access. So while Fat Joe can gift his Air Force Ones to anybody he wants, I feel like a more effective rollout would have been for, instead of gifting these to major celebrities, why not go ahead and gift these pairs, show some love to the smaller independent creators. So I'm talking about fellow YouTubers, people like Tony D2 Wild, or what about somebody like B Bullet RC? I feel like that would have been a much better look, but hey. All right, now Adidas, you gotta stop hoarding all of this remaining Yeezy inventory. The sneaker game has been kind of dull, so just go ahead and give the people what they want and release this remaining inventory. So we got another highly anticipated Yeezy boot, which I expect Adidas to release before this year's end. So pictured here, we got the Desert Boot Salt, which originally released back in 2019. Now, if you guys recall, when they were dropping Yeezys back then, they would always come with that plastic shoe tag. So as you see from the images here, this restock pair features the updated recyclable tag, meaning that we got a newly manufactured run of these that Adidas is just sitting on. So I feel like this would be a highly anticipated release for sneakerheads. I feel like the Desert Boot has definitely reached classic Yeezy status, and this salt colorway is one of the more unique versions of this boot, and I feel like one of the more rare colorways, is I feel like they may have only restocked possibly like one time since 2019. So unfortunately, these boots run notoriously small, so my pair that I grabbed back then doesn't fit, so I'm definitely in the market for a restock. And keep it locked right here, guys, as we continue to dive into more of this unreleased Adidas Yeezy inventory. And in other streetwear related news, it looks like over the weekend, streetwear brand Denim, they held a pop-up in New York. One of the guests that pulled up to the event, Offset, which according to reports, he dropped the bag spending over 40K at the pop-up, as well as throwing over $5,000 into the crowd. So I don't know where they're getting all these numbers from, but based off Offset's attire, many people are speculating that he could potentially have a Denim Tears collab on the way. And I would say, based off this image, the back of this t-shirt reading Offset Tears, I would definitely expect this collab to be coming soon. So let me ask you guys, are you in the market for an Offset Denim Tears collab? And what are your thoughts on these designs? And lastly, we got breaking news, which according to the Soul Retriever, it looks like the Cactus plant flea market Air Force Ones are gonna be making a return coming up next summer. Now, with this model, all hype aside, which makes these joints so good, of course, you got the classic but kind of plain Air Force One, but then you throw in that font from the classic Air Up Tempos, which really make this shoe pop, and I feel like gives it a more chunkier silhouette. So overall, this is just a dope looking sneaker, so I'm really happy that they're bringing these back, especially with all of the hype for this pair. Resale prices go so crazy that it's great that they're giving us another chance to grab these. Hopefully they'll make enough pairs for everybody, but of course, knowing Nike and how hype CPFM is, I don't see it coming. But anyways, I think it's cool that they're kind of bringing those back. And speaking of CPFM, we got new images of the Air Flea 2. This joint right here coming in with a green version. So I feel like from the very first time we've seen these, I think they are starting to kind of grow on people a little more. I feel like, in my personal opinion, these are much better than the Air Flea 1. And I like how they threw in the big oversized Nike swoosh on these. So we've seen the green pair, we've now seen them in a black. No telling what the official retail will look like, but be on the lookout for these to potentially drop before this year's end. So let me know if you guys are feeling these. Are you excited for any of these upcoming big Nike CPFM releases? And go ahead and drop your feedback on all of the topics covered here in today's video. So of course, we're gonna wrap things up right here. Salute to everybody for tuning in. I'm JA. Make sure you guys stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the latest edition of JA News. Love.